Yes, and you find, for example, in Kenya, they found an astronomical observatory 300 years before Christ. On the basis of the alignments of the stones of that observatory, they found Africans had built one of the world's most accurate prehistoric calendars. They found very complex astronomy among the West Africans. In the last program, for example, Professor Ben had been pointing out reasons for the decline and fall of the Egyptian civilization. One of the things that must be noted is that after that fall, Africa rose again in other places. That Mali Empire, for example, in the 13th and 14th centuries was quite extraordinary. The Dogon, a people among in the Mali Empire, plotted an invisible star, a white dwarf, which we, when I say we, I mean modern astronomy, only became aware of in the 20th century. They not only plotted its orbit and trajectory up to 1990. We have found that our best machines produce the same chart that they produced several centuries ago.
Where is the evidence that they did plot this invisible star?
Well, Griot and Deitel, two anthropologists, studied the Dogon and found after 16 years what an extraordinary knowledge they had of our, not only of our planet, but of star systems and our galaxy. They pointed out, for example, that this star which they plotted, and I have looked through a powerful telescope, I could not see it, even with that powerful telescope, because even with our best telescopes, it is only visible at certain times. They know.
So mathematics must also
the mathematics is involved as well as telescopes. The Russians discovered in ancient Africa finely ground spherical crystal lenses. In the excavations they found this, and they have indicated.
Where
this was found in Egypt. This was found on Anas's time, and they have indicated that the Africans were capable of making telescopes. The Dogon kept up a caravan trade with Egypt even after its decline, and could have got this knowledge and refined in it afterwards.
So what we have is a story of an African people that had developed a high technology, but their humanity was such that
no, I don't think it's a question of humanity. I do not believe in theories of people being more human than others. I do believe, however, and the evidence bears us out, that whereas the Africans had the opportunities to destroy European civilizations whenever they invaded Europe, whether it was under the Grimaldis before the emergence of Cro-Magnon man, whether it was under the Moors, when with other peoples they were in Egypt, they were in Europe, whether it was under Hannibal, when even Taharqa made an excursion into a part of Europe, they found him in Spain. The European profited in all the circumstances. Never was his civilization shattered. Whereas when the Europeans invaded, they wiped out cultures. And that is a very odd thing.
That speaks not of humanity,
it speaks of very extraordinary circumstances, how this can be translated in terms of whether you have different kinds of human beings or different type of human consciousness or different human character, perhaps in terms of the social character of the African. You see, the African never believed that, for example, if he has a religion and he conquers another person or walks into another territory, he has to plaster it down on them. The times when these invasions were made, it was times when Europe thought, or at least she liked to think, in order to cover up, to assuage her guilty conscience, that she could say, well, look, I've come on the name of Christ, in the name of God, to save these souls, so that she, therefore, found it necessary to wipe out everything. Like, for example, in America, she destroyed all the books in America except 3.
Well, did the African ever do that?
They never did that because...
Did the African ever enslave the European?
No. No, you don't have evidence of that. And this is not only a question of humanity, it has to do, as I say, with the assumption with which you move forward, that what are you doing? The African, for example, did not have these monolithic religions where you would go like the Arab or the Christians, the European Christians, when they distorted Christianity, would go and say, in the name of such and such, I'm going to wipe you out. I don't think the African invader ever operated under those premises, so that you can have a totally different kind of impact occurring.